Let's talk today about breadcrumbing, why avoidants do it, and the effect it has on the anxious attacher. And finally, how to actually break free from this cycle. Hi, I'm Amy and welcome back to this channel. Welcome if you're new here. I'm a certified attachment style coach and I help anxious attachers break the cycle of avoidant and emotionally unavailable partners so that you can really thrive in your independence and prevent future heartbreak. And in today's video, I'm going to discuss breadcrumbing, what it is, why they do it, how to spot it, how to break it, and all the stuff in between. But before I start, I do have a new 6-week self-study course available on my website now. The link is in my bio, so you can go and check that out. But let's get into the video. So breadcrumbing is the more colloquial term for intermittent reinforcement. So as anxious attachers, breadcrumbing falls under the radar for us because we are so accustomed to it, we sometimes don't even notice it's happening. So I'm going to give you an example from my own experience. If you've followed me for a while, you'll know that I was in a 7-year on and off relationship with a dismissive avoidant partner, and breadcrumbing was a frequent feature in this relationship. I just didn't realize it at the time. It was really hard to spot. So what this would look like is a push-pull pattern of them coming forward and then them emotionally distancing. So you were the best thing ever one day, they wanted to speak to you all day long, it was all very loving, very affectionate, and then the next day it's like you didn't even exist, you'd be lucky to get a text message. And I would make excuses for this, even though it happened on a pretty regular basis. I would think maybe my expectations are just too high, or maybe I'm expecting too much, or maybe I'm too much, maybe they need space from me because I'm too much. And I never ever addressed it, even though I felt so anxious and uncomfortable, but I just didn't want to look at it, you guys. I completely blamed myself and thought, well, he's just being normal because that's what I was used to. He's just being normal and it must be me that's got the problem because I'm the one that feels anxious. So breadcrumbing is what it sounds like. It's basically a crumb of attention, just enough to keep you emotionally invested. And it conditions the anxious attacher to keep chasing the breadcrumbs, hoping that the avoidant will finally see them. They will finally love you the way that you want to be loved. They will finally open up to you and pour their heart out to you, and you'll find this deep connection with that person because that's what you want. That's what the anxious attachment craves. It craves connection. But when you're in a relationship with an avoidant, you probably are going to experience this pattern of breadcrumbing, this push-pull that happens. And this is addictive. What this does is creates a pattern of intermittent reinforcement that you get emotionally and physically sometimes hooked on. So your system is constantly going through an up and down. So you're feeling anxious because this person's emotionally distanced. You get a text message, which on the face of it isn't a lot. It's very low effort. But because it's an effort, it feels amazing. It feels like love. So you get the dopamine hit from it. You're thinking, oh, they're finally doing it. That, you know, this is going to be the start of them changing. Oh, if this carries on like this, I'm going to get the full loaf. But the full loaf never comes. But because you've been conditioned to expect a breadcrumb, you are waiting for this crumb of affection, attention, love, whatever it is, to be seen, heard, understood. You're waiting for this crumb. And when you finally get it, that's when it's addictive. So you're constantly chasing this high of euphoria when you get it, the high and the relief that, oh, thank God they finally messaged me. So essentially you are waiting for somebody else to give you permission to feel worthy. And this would happen to me all the time, you guys. And if there was conflict, for example, this person would go silent for days and then they would start to breadcrumb again to get me emotionally invested again. And I was emotionally invested. I ended up living with this person, but the breadcrumbing didn't stop. It was just happening in person. It was in my face all the time. And ultimately the relationship failed. I never was seen by this person. This person didn't know how to love me the way that I wanted to be loved, and their belief system around relationships and love was so different to mine. We just weren't compatible. We just couldn't problem solve. We couldn't communicate properly. So if you're sat there thinking, I feel really nervous about this person. I feel really nervous about when this person's going to be contacting me. Maybe you're checking the phone all the time. Maybe you're waiting for that moment for them to notice you, to see you, so that you know that you matter to this person. You're in an addictive cycle right now. And particularly when it comes to text messages, I personally found text messaging was particularly addictive because it was so easy to send a text. And you can reply to someone instantaneously, which really just reinforced that addictive pattern that I had. Now, this didn't stop after this person ended things, and this person ended things a lot, but when it was that we ended things finally, my nervous system was still waiting for the breadcrumb. And this was particularly hard to break. It wasn't something that happened overnight. I had to regulate through this. I had to calm my nervous system down and remind myself on a consistent basis that I deserve more than breadcrumbs. I deserve more than what this person is willing to offer. I also thought about what the need underneath the contact was. So really and truly, I was chasing the breadcrumbs because I wanted to feel seen by this person. So I thought, okay, how can I be seen in more healthy ways? Because at the moment, I'm trying to get a person that doesn't see me to see me, and I'm just working harder for this to happen, but it's never going to happen. So how can I meet that need to be seen in healthy ways? So I connected with friends a lot more. I had deeper conversations with friends, healthy conversations with friends. So it was a more healthy dynamic where I could actually feel that this person sees me. They're not giving me a time scale that I can talk. They're not holding all the control over it anymore. And that was really refreshing. But the second stage to that was perhaps more important, when I thought, how do I meet this need to be seen myself? How do I see myself more? And for this, journaling was really the answer, because when you're sat journaling, even if it's just like I do, a stream of consciousness, if I'm feeling anxious or feeling an emotion that I don't want to feel, I will sit and journal and say, and write down, I feel angry right now. These are the thoughts that I have. This is what happened. And I validate my own anger, because of course I felt angry, because I invested a lot into a relationship and it wasn't reciprocated. I was angry because I didn't get the treatment that I deserved. And by journaling all this out, you're sitting with yourself, you're witnessing your own pain, and you're with yourself throughout that pain. You do not abandon yourself anymore. You're no longer putting the ball in somebody else's court to wait to feel seen by somebody, to wait to feel worthy, to wait to feel loved. You are capable of giving yourself those things right now, in the present moment. So I want you all to say to yourself right now, what is it that I need right now, and what is the healthiest way that I can give that to myself? Maybe you need connection right now. Maybe you want to call a friend. Maybe you want to connect with yourself through journaling, checking in with how you feel. Maybe a meditation, for example. Checking in and connecting to yourself will fill that void that you have, that void that tells you that you need somebody else to see you. You need somebody else to give you permission to feel worthy, because you absolutely don't, you guys. You are worthy exactly how you are. You are worthy exactly how you are. For just being born, you are already worthy and you deserve to be seen. The problem with anxious attachers is that we subconsciously are drawn to people who won't see us. And I have a video on inner child work that explains exactly why this is. And the reason why it happened to me is because throughout my entire childhood, I was doing exactly the same thing with my dad, where I would take on his interests. I would play cricket, and I absolutely hated cricket. No offense to any cricket fans, But I hated cricket, but I played it because I wanted the connection with him. And the connection always had to be on his terms. So this pattern of breadcrumbing in this relationship was so familiar to me that for years it flew under the radar. For years I blamed myself for being too much. But you're not too much. Breadcrumbing is a form of manipulation, regardless of whether that person intends it for that reason or not. You deserve consistency. Healthy relationships are based around consistency, reciprocity. It's not about you people pleasing. It's not about you working too hard with the hope that this person is just going to turn around one day and see you for exactly who you are and love you anyway, love you unconditionally, make you feel worthy. It's just a pattern that you have, but you can break it when you start to learn how to meet your own needs yourself. It's okay to grieve the relationship. It's okay to grieve the fact that you didn't get what you deserved. So why do avoidants breadcrumb? The main reason avoidants breadcrumb is because of the fear of vulnerability. They cannot show up consistently in relationships. They come forward, the fear of vulnerability comes up, the fear of engulfment, the fear of being controlled comes up, and they push away. So they need frequent breaks from communication, from connection, because it's just too overwhelming for them. I'm not excusing it, you guys, but I do want to give you this information so that you're not personalizing it, because there really isn't any problem to want to communicate with somebody on a consistent basis. To expect your partner to show up consistently instead of there 1 minute, gone the next. It's almost like you're at a slot machine. You're putting the coins in, hoping that the jackpot's going to come up. It's the same mechanism as the monkey pulling the lever, hoping to get cocaine. But you can break it. You can remind yourself when you're feeling that pull that you deserve consistency, that you deserve to feel loved and worthy right now how you are. You are capable of feeling those feelings right now. Their fear of vulnerability and their fear of intimacy is there way before you guys showed up. It isn't you. So I hope you found that video helpful. If you did, consider subscribing to this channel. Leave any stories in the comment boxes below. I do enjoy reading them and responding to them. But I'm Amy, and it's an absolute pleasure to help you improve your self-worth. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time.